arigato. 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. Let me get 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. I'm so excited to be back in the booth on this beautiful Saturday that we've been gifted with today. I'm looking outside here in Yomitan, Okinawa, and I can tell you right now, guys, it is an amazing day. A little humid. The humidity just came back, and you guys already know with the humidity, with the heat, and the rain season, the bugs are back too. You guys will talk about this as soon as bug season happens. Seeing some of the most unique looking bugs here in Okinawa. The weather, the views, the water, everything makes up for it, right? That's the only thing. You guys know me. I have a thing for bugs. But as far as everything else in this island, it is an amazing time to be here. It's a perfect time of year to really enjoy where we are in Okinawa, and especially here in Yomitan Village. 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. Man, it has been a busy week. My team, we were running 140 registered airmen. I think 136 showed up for this week's first term enlisted course. From what we're tracking, it's the largest class in history of the United States Air Force. We haven't confirmed that yet. But that's still a lot of students, right? And had a wonderful opportunity not only to spend time with these students, but to teach them about goal setting, mindfulness. We had the Happiness Studies Academy. That was a different session. We had our teammates from the Power of Positivity, who of course sponsors our Lighthouse Beacon Award and our guest speakers for that event. The powerpositivity.com. If you haven't been out there to check out their powerful quotes and messages that they put out throughout the week, I highly encourage it. It always uplifts me, makes me smile. I really appreciate the team for supporting what we do, supporting our events. And I really want to say thank you just before we even get started. But what they did is they really helped us this week. And our guest speaker, Ms. Anna Costa, she came in and she also had an opportunity to speak to our students this week. And the students loved it. Great energy. Anna, if you're hearing this for the first time, the students said you have that awesome school teacher energy that really balanced well with how we were beating them up with military stuff, right? And you came in and gave them some really that old school positivity that they really needed. And it was the perfect timing and the right time during their session. And they really had great feedback for you. So Miss Anna Costa, thank you for being our guest speaker and for representing the Lighthouse Beacon Award for our team and the Power of Positivity. And just want to say thank you. If I hadn't said it before, you'll see an email from me. We've been moving. I literally went from graduating that class to breathing to getting here to the station. So you're getting this message from me. It's really to say thank you for your support. And I'm saying this to our entire island. It was an amazing event, a beautiful opportunity to remind people that character matters. It's not just about what you do for your service. It's not just about your job. It's not just about your occupation or your specialty. Who you are, who shows up every single day, who is that person that people see when they walk in the door? What energy? What are you putting in the room, right? And I don't think people understand how important energy is. I don't think people understand how important character is. I don't think people understand how important their legacy is until it's too late in a lot of cases. So, Ms. Costa, Anna, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your positivity. It really met the mark. It really had great feedback, and I can't say thank you enough. Moving forward, what else do we do? This week, I'm telling you guys, it's a busy week. So we had 140 in that classroom. 130, I think, was the final numbers, 136-ish. And then during that time, of course, my team were doing that, and then we're also dividing and conquering, right? So I had my teammate Derek. He's teaching the flight officer course and getting invited to units to go teach lessons about leadership and things of that nature. And one of my side quests during this week was working with all of our providers. If you guys don't know what that is, here on our base specifically, we have a lot of places where people can go down and sit and talk with someone. therapists, counselors, you name it. They have the military family life counselors. They have the True North program. They have mental health. They have psychologists and counselors that are just available to spend time with you, stop time for you, and help you heal whatever you're trying to navigate. Now, for me, I work with these people all the time. I'm always calling, especially with the folks that I'm coaching, just to kind of get some professional advice, right? And it's not even about telling the person's story or individual. I just kind of throw it at them. Hey, if I'm dealing with a situation like this, and of course, I'm not trying to heal past tension, past pains, situations. I'm trying to help that individual stay focused on their present goals and who they are as an individual and what they're working on, as far as themselves, help them with the building blocks, whatever they bring into the room. But if someone brings something into the room that I'm kind of like, this might need more therapy than coaching, then I reach out to these folks and I just say, hey, I just want to do a sanity check, right? Hey, what's that, right? I want to do a sanity check with a therapist. Sanity check, this person brought this into the room today. I'm thinking about referring them to you. What do you think? And therapists that I'm really close with and cool with, they're like, yeah, man, I think that's a good idea. You really might recommend that he goes and see someone before continuing services. Like, those relationships to me matter a lot. So I want to say thank you to Captain Verde and the team for allowing me to be a part of this first ever for our base, or at least since our term around here. And I've been here for about 4+ years, of a provider's sync. Getting all these different agencies together to include the chaplain's course and religious affairs teams, getting them all together and putting us all in the same room. And me being a coach, I just love the environment. Just being there with them was special to me. But to have 2 hours with them to teach Happier No Matter What, which we did, we taught Happier No Matter What, and which was an amazing, amazing opportunity to really speak these models into people, right? The spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional well-being aspects of the SPIRE model, right? How to seek out happiness indirectly, and what are those elements and what do they look like? So we took them through that. Now, the craziest thing is this session, all day they're talking about collaborating. So that entire day, it was all provider sync, collaborating, teamwork. They're doing team building stuff and all these things. But what I know, and especially after reaching out to my teammates at the Department of Air Force headquarters and kind of running some ideas by them, I understand that compassion fatigue is a real thing. And it's so much easier to get there when we're not taking care of ourselves, taking time to reflect, taking a step back, being mindful, being present, not getting stuck in other stories and giving back to ourselves, feeding our own spirits, right? As counselors, therapists, coaches, regardless, if we're not taking care of us, we're not going to do the max that we can with taking care of others. I'm trying to use great language when I'm talking about this because it's important to me. So I noticed and I paid attention to the program leading all the way up until it was my opportunity. And I had this team from 1:30 to 3:30, which really like 3:40 because we left it open for also some presentations and things of that nature. However, in my time and while talking to them, I wanted them to understand that you matter too. That's that care for the caregivers that we don't get. You matter too. Hey, you give and give and give every single day. And I guarantee you that people will take and take every single day because they see you as the authority that can hold on to all this, that can take it off them. But that every conversation is weight. And knowing what to do with that weight, how to handle that weight, where to leave that weight takes clarity. It takes peace. It takes peace of mind. It takes mindfulness. It takes being present. It takes actively knowing who you are and taking care of who you are. Boundaries, you name it. There's so many things that come into play when it comes to ensuring as a caregiver that you are taking care of yourself so that you can do the best possible outcome of taking care of your patients. So in order to achieve that, these are some of the things I covered down on them. And so shout out to the Happiness Studies Academy and Dr. Tal Ben Shahar for the product and for giving me the tools to do this. Trainers Warehouse, as always, thank you for your, Developing Resilience Thumb Ball. I didn't bring it in here. It's the orange one. Developing Resilience Thumb Ball. Shout out immediately to Sue Landay for providing me with that last year as a tool as we went out to the religious affairs function. And for the Department of the Air Force in Florida, this is a big event. I introduced the Developing Resilience, and I used it yesterday here locally for our smaller venue, which was still an outstanding and a really wonderful event. And I just want to say thank you to all of those people that helped me make that possible. And so that was the two of the probably biggest events that we had this week, right? The large class, 130 plus, me going out and doing the provider sync, my teammate going and teaching the leaders how to lead. I had an opportunity, I want to say another teaching opportunity as well this week. It's just nonstop going in and teaching, coaching, educating, encouraging, and inspiring individuals to be the best version of themselves. 100% to be the best version of themselves. If I can leave out the room and I feel like these people, hey, they took something away from that, and I can sleep good at night. Because that, when you feel like you're living in your purpose and that's what you try to deliver and you're trying to be consistent and you're trying to make sure that is what happens every time you step on that stage. So I try my hardest, but I also give myself grace, and I also make sure on the weekends, every spot and opportunity I have, that I try to take care of myself too. I make sure my loved ones are good. I make sure my puppy is good, little Scooby. And then I make sure I give myself some time back too, because I'm giving my time all week to everybody else. My teammate told me yesterday, he said, Senior. I said, what's up, brother? He said, man, I'm tired. He had just finished teaching for about 2 hours. And he said, I'm tired. And I said, really? And he said, yeah, not every class tires me out, but that was one of those that really got me. And I said, well, let me share something with you. I said, all week we've been thinking for 140 people. If you do the math, in that one classroom and in our instructors, we've been thinking for 140 people. And then you go in that classroom and you're really trying to help grow others. You're really trying to put wisdom and really pour into them. And what you're doing as you're pouring into them, that comes from somewhere. And when you're really into it and you really mean it, that's coming from your heart. That's coming from your mind. You're making sure you're not leaving anything for a question. And then when they have engagement and information they need or questions they have on top of what you've already delivered, that's additional thought that goes into that. So really, I hope that you leave everything you have on the floor and in the paint every time you walk out of there. Not to say I don't want you to save something for yourself and your family when you get home, but I want you, for that event, for that opportunity, to give them everything you got. So you should be tired. That's a good thing. That means you did your job. And we did our thing. We hugged it out. You know, I went on to teach the next thing. He went on to teach the next. But it stuck with me because I know that feeling. When we're standing up there as facilitators and as coaches and as teachers and we're delivering messages and it's coming from a place. I know I change it up for the group that I'm in front of, but it's coming from a place of love. And that energy is genuine. It's not something that I make up or I put on a certain face for that group. No, this energy is genuine. I'm giving you me for the X amount of hours that you have me. So with that being said, man, I want to thank everyone who gave us the opportunity this week to pour into them. If you didn't know, facilitators, teachers, instructors, whatever you want to call us, we love what we do. And when we truly love what we do, those opportunities mean the world to us. So thank you for those folks who invited us out, those students who came for the 4-day course, the leaders who trusted us to give them more tools for their toolkit, my team who goes out and does these things without question and comes back tired. Thank you for being who you are and for doing what you do, and for the folks who accept us and who seek us out for these things. Had some very interesting conversations this week. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. One of them really had me questioning myself. Now, I reflect all the time, and I really, I take conversations and I twist them up in my mind to make sure, could I have said this different? Could I have done that? It's real reflections, not just introspective. I usually seek feedback as well. But one of the conversations I had this week to kick my week off just really had me questioning my next chapter, and I can't wait to talk to you about that. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome. It is a beautiful day outside here in Yomaton. I talked about in this first segment my week, what we did, who we were around, some things that stood out, the people I want to say thank you to. If you weren't here for that piece, I want to say thank you to the Happiness Studies Academy. I want to say thank you to the Power of Positivity. I want to say thank you to the students who enrolled in this week's course. I want to say thank you to Miss Anna Costa, or Costa, whatever you want to say it. Thank you for making this week special. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. We'll be right back after this break. .6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome, and we are back. We're right back into it. I'm excited to be back in the booth. I honestly am. It's been a couple of weeks. As you guys know, it's not side quests, as my friends joke and call them, but there are a lot of opportunities to get around this island and get around, of course, this region and do some amazing things. And those opportunities pop up sometimes without me even expecting it. A lot of projects that we have right now. One of the discussions I had this week is in response to one of those projects, right? I had my vision set on what I want to do with what I'm doing now. And let me peel that back a little bit before we move forward. So for me, I'm a builder. However, I love to facilitate, coach, teach. I like to build things that I know is going to impact people. When I saw all of the changes that the world was going through, especially in our nation at the beginning of this year, one of the facilitations or courses that I was really excited to teach was Thriving Through Change. Because I saw the changes, I saw the need, and I really said, hey, guys, this is a thing. This is something I can offer. This is something that I'm certified in. Let's talk about it. And it really took over well because timing is everything. I also see a lot of people who are struggling with the small things. When I say the small things, I mean those things that should be innate to human behavior. I mean those things that we should have at a basic human level or be doing at a basic human level if we want to be successful, if we want to thrive, if we want to be, let's say, in a good mind space or mental space. So when I see these things that are happening around me and I'm having coaching sessions, I'm hearing trends, I always focus and shift my lessons that I'm offering based on that. I sit around a lot of people who think they're leaders but haven't even learned how to lead. So of course I'm developing courses significantly directed at how to help people be self-aware and understand that leadership is not just how to manipulate people. It's not just how to navigate people, but it's also knowing who you are, knowing who is showing up, your leadership presence, your energy, if you're reflecting on those conversations you're having, if you care about your people. It's not just about the mission, it's about the people who are making sure the mission is being accomplished. It's not just about the output or the end goal, it's about how we get there, and is everybody going with you? Because I've seen a lot of leaders who don't realize their people don't want to work for them anymore because of who they are, not because of what the job is, it's because of who that person is. So I'm focusing on, let me make you a better person of character so that your people can stay around, so people aren't losing. I know jobs right now where if they look at their retention rate, it's ridiculous. Nobody asks what happens on the outside, but on the inside, those people who are leaving or about to leave know that it always stems from that boss or that so-called leader who has the title but is not performing the function. You're not leading if nobody's following you. It's just the real thing. You are not leading anything if nobody's following you. You might be managing and running something, but you're not leading it. So to be a leader, there's a lot of characteristics and traits I wanted to focus back in on. Learning about emotional intelligence, to tie those character traits in there from all aspects of emotional intelligence, from Daniel Goleman to Talent Smart to EQI, taking all of that information and putting it all together and being, what are the common trends here? If I told you how many books I've been reading to try to piece it all together to understand how can I help these people? Not just specifically the people who are trying to lead, but these people who are trying to live. These people who are trying to grow. How do I help these people? How do I put this all together? Because there's a market out there for people who are chasing the market. But there's also people like myself who are chasing hearts and minds and trying to grow them and strengthen them. And I also had a conversation that really took me back a little bit because I was like, I'm not a bottom line guy. Let's put that on wax. I'm not a bottom line guy. So when I have conversations about bottom lines, I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet. You see, in the real world, let's talk about that. There's a lot of bottom line businesses and people and companies. Me, I'm a person who is about taking care of people. So I haven't got to myself, and that's what I realized as I look at transitioning into something new. I haven't got myself to the point where I'm looking at bottom lines yet. I'm really looking at how can I grow, build, and develop people to be the best version of themselves. That's why I love this. I would do this for free any day because I love the fact that I get 45 to 50 minutes to speak life into someone who might have had a miserable week. I get 45 minutes to talk to you, just tell a story with you and to share my week with you. How I grew, what I learned. And that conversation really had me thinking. I called some really important people in my life and I said, hey man, I know my value, I know my worth, but I don't want to use who I am to pull. It's not about a bottom line for me. I really had to get perspective shifts and understand what this bottom line thing mean. And then it was 2 or 3 conversations with 2 or 3 different entities. I won't say companies, I won't say jobs. 2 or 3 different entities. And they just kept kind of throwing bottom line at me. Now, bottom line, if you guys are on track of what I'm saying, is how much money can this make? How many people you think will sign up for this? I'm testing it. Like you guys know, I learn everything I can, and I go out to these different courses, I go out to these different events, and I go out to these different conferences, summits, and I just speak life. I've been delivered information. I have these tools in the toolkit that literally hide behind covers of books, and I'm like, hey, let me share this with you because you may have never heard it, may have never seen it, and may never see it if I don't share this with you right now. And it's not that it's hidden, it's that there's so many different places to get this information. And a lot of times, by the time someone gets it, it's someone else's interpretation or it's someone else's version. And it's not the information that was initially sent into the world. And then a lot of people like to take ownership of things that aren't theirs. I've caught that too. So many things that I learned this week. And what it made me really question, not necessarily who I am as an individual, not my character, not my worth, not my value, but how other people might struggle with it. Because other people might be thinking that even if they say their purpose is to take care of others, but the people they work for or what they've built is a bottom line establishment or a bottom line conclusion. So I wanted to share something with you. And this is something when I'm in a session and someone comes in and they're struggling about not feeling valued, and when they're struggling with about not feeling that people are appreciating their worth, or when they don't know their value, or when they don't know their worth. Now, for me, I feel truly I'm living in my purpose right now. I feel it's a blessed opportunity to do what we do. It's a blessed opportunity to build what we have built. It's an amazing opportunity to be in connections with any of the people who I have the blessed time or the opportunity to speak to, and the honor and privilege of sharing time and getting feedback and listening to these perspectives. So I'm not bashing anyone, but it did have me questioning a lot of things about how the industry works, how the world works, and how people may be seeing themselves right now. Because I know we can't do everything for free. I know you got to survive out there. I know that we have to build something that is sustainable. And then there's a lot of people right now that are really trying to build generational worth, not just for themselves, for them kids, for their kids' kids. I just want to be around to see it. So I'm trying to build it. Not about money, not about fame, not about, you'll notice I don't have Instagram. I don't have TikTok. I don't have any of that stuff. I use Instagram, if I use it at all, to put videos in to share on a story. But as far as like trying to get looked, no, even on the Instagram page, if you guys go to this page's site on Instagram, or that site's page for me, Positive Vibes Radio Show, you'll notice that it says, do not follow this. This is just for Travs. This is where I drop it. It's between that and another site that I actually crop my videos, put them in there, and make sure they actually look good when I post them on social media. When I post them, it's not for likes, hearts, or love. It's so that I can make sure that there's messages of encouragement going out into the communities that I love, into the people I care about. I love Power of Positivity so much because of every day they make sure that those things are primed and ready to go out to encourage people. Their messages. I learn from that. And then I also don't post every single day. When I post, it may be every couple of weeks. If I post on my business page, it may be once a quarter. The point is, I know that those opportunities exist, but I'm not there for that. I'd rather be in this booth every single day speaking life into people, because it's not about and not knowing who's hearing it. Just knowing that people are listening. Because it's not about the likes and the clicks. It's about pouring life and giving life, and hopefully changing or saving one if needed. So I'm going to tell you a story, and then I'll talk about it after this. But basically, before father passed away, he told his son, "Here is a watch your grandfather gave me. It's almost 200 years old. Before I give it to you, go to the jewelry store in the city and tell them I want you to sell it, and that you want to sell it, and see how much they offer you." The son went to the jewelry store, came back to his father and said they offered the jewelry store offered $100 because it's old. The father said, "We'll try the pawn shop." The son went to the pawn shop, came back and said, "The pawn shop only offered me $20 because it has a scratch." The father asked his son to go to the museum and show them the watch. The son quietly questioned his father's judgment, but still willing to act on his father's last wishes, he went to the museum. And when he came back, he said to his father, "The curator offered me $375,000 for this very rare piece to be included in their precious antique collection." The father responded, "I wanted to show you with those trips that the right place will value you in the right way. Don't find yourself in the wrong place and get angry because you're not valued. Never stay in a place where someone doesn't see your value or you don't feel accepted or appreciated." You see, that really encompassed a lot of my conversations this week. You see, as me, a lot of people see, the large classrooms, the large scale events, but what about the facilitator? See, a lot of people see what I can build, but ask me what I'm talking about. A lot of people see that they can invite me to their events, but did you read the synopsis? Or are you just trying to put something together? You see, I know my worth. I know my value. I know what I bring every single time I step on the stage. I know what I bring every event I attend. I know the tools I have, the teams I work with, the partnerships I've established. I know my worth. But there are so many people that come and sit down in front of me on one-on-one sessions that don't, struggle with it, and are hurting. So I'm going to talk to you about that as soon as we get back from this break. 78.6 FM Yoma Time, positive vibes with Winsome. Winsome with the face for radio, bringing it. Hey, so check this out. I was telling you a story or told you a story before the break. If you guys didn't hear the story is about the young man whose father was dying. The father said, hey, before I go, I need you to do something for me. I want you to take this watch and I want you to figure out how much money you can get for it. So the son, as his father's dying wishes, he takes the watch and he goes to the pawn shop. The pawn shop's like, I'll give you $100 for it as a scratch. Goes to the jewelry store. Jewelry store says, I'll give you whatever. So point is, he goes to these two places and they're finding reasons that the watch doesn't have much value. They're trying to give him pennies, basically. So he goes back to his dad after those two trips and he says, Dad, the pawn shop and the jewelry store not really give me anything. The dad, and you know, some of his last words, he says, I want you to go to the antique store and see what they'll give it for you, right? So the son goes to the antique store, and the antique store says, I will give you $375,000 for this prize collection to go in our antique set. Son goes back excited, and he tells his dad about this, and the dad says, I need you to understand, not everybody will see your value. Not everybody will see your worth. And I need you to understand that no matter what they think, that doesn't make you any less valuable. That doesn't diminish your worth at all, what other people think about you. It starts with what you think about you. When you start there, when you value yourself, when you love yourself enough to fight for your truth, for your vision, for your goals, for who you're trying to become, when you are doing everything in your power every single day you wake up to be intentional, to be the best version of yourself, when you're happy and in love with the person that you see in the mirror, you know. Because that fire in your heart is not going out. It's just sparking every time you put your 2 feet on the ground. And you know that there is something waiting for you in that day. Something's waiting for you to grab it. There is something in your world that day that you need to do. There's a life you need to change. There is a friend that needs to hear your voice. There is a teammate that needs your energy. You know. And when you're living in your purpose and you're doing things that align with your vision, with the vision that you were meant to do on this earth, from the moment you were born, you are a miracle. You are a creation. You are one of one. And when you are doing these things that are living in your purpose, you feel it and it drives you to do the impossible, the things that people think are impossible. But you know in your heart and in your mind that you can. And you do things just like me. I am, I can, and I will achieve my goal, achieve my vision, build what I want, be who I want, and do every single day these things intentionally, with passion, with love, and with motivation, because I don't need the world to motivate me. I motivate myself. This is what you tell yourself. It's not the extrinsic motivation that pushes me. It's the intrinsic motivation that pushes me. It is the fire inside you. That's what you remind yourself every single day that you get up. Every day that you walk out into this world. You're not aimless. You have a target. You're not lost. You're becoming. You understand that when you go into your day, the world needs you. You are not just one of a few billion. You are something special. You are unique and wonderfully made. Your story was crafted before you were born. It's just time for you to step into it. Time for you to open your eyes and realize that it's there waiting on you. There's a lot of people and a lot of conversations I've been having over the past few weeks where a lot of people aren't sure who they want to become. They're not sure if they're living a life that's bringing them joy. They're not sure what brings them joy. And I always ask those questions, especially to my friends who come to my office and they're saying, hey, senior, coach, whatever it is, I just don't know if this is what I want to be doing. And I love the ones who are honest, transparent, and say things like, my job isn't bringing me joy. Let me move my chair a little bit. And I love this kind of nodding a little bit, picking my head up, moving my glasses, shift them. Is your job supposed to bring you joy? Is that where your joy comes from? Is your job responsible for bringing you joy? Please answer those 3 questions. However order you want, whatever order you want to. Because the answer for all 3 is no. Joy doesn't come from your work. Joy comes from you and the work that you do and the purpose you have behind it. Joy comes from the things that you find passionate, that you find in the time to do. Joy comes from the growth that you're putting into yourself, the things that you're delivering yourself, your family, your loved ones. Joy comes from the connections that you make around you, the people that you hold close. Joy comes from doing the things that bring you life. Joy comes from appreciating the things that are right in front of you that you may not have paid attention to in a long time. Joy comes from being grateful for all that you have. Joy comes from all of these things. And people, when they sit in front of me, they're looking for their job to give that to them. It's not your job's job. That's you. You have to seek the things that bring you joy. What do you call that? The indirect stuff, like everything I say. Spiritually, what are you doing that's making you whole? What are you connecting to? How do you see this world? Physically, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of your body, your mind? How are you handling stress? What are you doing to make sure that you're not holding on to things that are keeping you up at night? How are you leaving work at work? That's physical. Intellectual. What are you feeding your mind? Listen to me. A lot of people go out and they're feeding their mind with some of the most toxic things. There's no balance. I know people that go from work to watching Netflix horror stories or crime dramas. But when are you feeding your mind something for growth? Who are you following? Who are you listening to? Who are you connecting with that's actually feeding you good things for your life, helping you grow, giving you applicable things that you can actually go out and apply immediately, these tools that are in your toolkit to be better than you were yesterday? It's intellectual, relational. Are you nurturing the relationships that are nurturing you? When you tell someone you love them, are you showing them? Are you keeping these people close? If you're here like me in Japan and the time differences are significant to our people in our home nation, are we getting up early or staying up later to make sure we're connecting to these people? And not just via text, via video chat, phone call, so they can hear your voice, so they can see you in action, so you can see each other smile. Are you nurturing the love that nurtures you? Emotional. Listen to where I'm going with this. Are your emotions balanced? Are you making sure that you're treating them true? Are you allowing yourself to cry when you need to? Because them tears, those situations hurt. Are you navigating these storylines as they happen? Or are you just aimlessly launching yourself into the day because whatever happens, happens? I don't even care anymore. I'm just tired of this experience, this life experience, this miracle that I was given, this blessing that I have in front of me, this story that I hold the pen on. What are you doing? I ask you these questions because not only are we coaching these things and speaking these things in the people, but these are questions I need you to ask yourself. How are you taking care of you? What are you doing to make sure that you are full? I asked the caregivers this, and I spoke this into our providers on our base because I know it starts with them. If someone's going through a healing journey and they're relying on you to help them heal, they can't be pulling from you if there's nothing else to give, nothing left to give. Can you imagine a nightmare of going to someone for guidance, counseling, therapy, and that person's just an empty robotic shell just giving you textbook answers? No compassion, no empathy for your situation. No, and it gets there when people are just like, oh, this is my last patient for the day. So I know giving back to them is giving back to the community full turn. Let me tell you another one. This is one of my favorites. So we have a team full of superheroes, and I joke like that with them, and I tell them that. I tell them they have superhero syndrome, where they feel like they have to be the one to fix it. And we get storylines every single day. And I tell them, when I give you a day, when I tell you to take a day, and you come back, do you feel refreshed? Yes. Cool. What about when we've got hit with back-to-back classes, 4-day sessions, 5-day events, different shifts? Staying later, coming in earlier. What about those weeks? How does your body and mind feel? Oh, I'm so tired, senior. I'm just, it's kind of hard for me to think and come up with even the simplest of answers sometimes. Yeah, I know. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, when I tell you to take time off, this is me talking to my team. When I tell you to take time off, to leave this place where it's at, it's because I need you to be present at home. I need you to be careful about taking work home with you, and I need you to go home and just let this place go so that you can reflect on other things that are important to you. I know you care about your job. I know you care about our mission, but I need you to love on you. Because when you brain dump for a second, just block out the noise, reset. You come back and you're better. It's new energy, it's new strength, it's new thoughts, it's new ideas, it's new creativity, it's new everything. But a lot of us don't give that to ourselves. So I know as big brother on the team, I got to make sure they are doing that for themselves so that we can be the best version of us as a team for the community that we serve. And I'm going to put an S on that, for the communities that we serve. Now, if I'm not doing that, then I've failed them. If I'm not making sure they're looking after themselves, I failed them. That means everything I'm teaching the overall populace, I'm not keeping it, making sure I'm teaching it at home first. And I always tell them we have to practice what we teach. That's why you see me on all these little wild adventures on the weekends, or going up to the lighthouse after this show, or out in the universe just driving and taking everything in, because I need them to understand we aren't here just to do a mission. We're here to live. That's why I love this station. That's why I love this community, because the people are so amazingly kind. I have some of the most beautiful conversations. And people are like, you always in Youngstown. This is my home. And when you can embrace it as your home, not just somewhere you're stationed or somewhere you're working, when you can embrace it as your home, it changes your perspective on where you are. It's a different level of gratitude when you really call it home. I go back to the U.S. and visit, and I'm thinking in my mind, I can't wait to get home. Sad, right? No, it's not. It's actually a beautiful thing, because that means I'm connected. My mind's not at work right now. I might bring up stories from it, but my mind's not there. My mind is here in this community right now. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do when I step outside of here and get into that warm, humid weather that we have going out. There is a time, though, I'm going to say this, there's a saving grace to it. There is a time during the day where it's perfect weather. And let me tell you, I think it's around 6-ish, where the sun's already coming down. It's not cooking anymore. The wind is a beautiful breeze hitting your skin. The humidity isn't as high. You can go towards the water. You can hear the waves, and you can see the beautiful waves up close. I go in front of Atabi's, and I got to stop going down there, because I go down there for the views, but I always end up eating a burger. And, you know, I can't get fat. I'm trying to keep my body. But Atabi's Burgers, I go down there just for the sunset. And another place I go and I love going to is Banter Cafe. Over at Banter Cafe, they have one of the most amazing views and setups for you to sit down, bring something if you want to type, read, journal, and then you have one of the most amazing views to see the water. People from all over the world come here to sit there. So I say these things because I see the beauty in my surroundings. I see the amazing beauty in this community. I see what was built. I see what exists, and I love every minute of it. I'm trying to take it all in, because I know this may not last forever. But I say this to people that are going through beautiful experiences right now. For the people that are going through painful experiences right now, it's not going to last forever. And for the ones who are experiencing painful emotions or going through painful experiences, navigate them. Learn the lesson. Understand what you're going through, and understand how you got yourself there. And as you're climbing out, make sure that you bring that story with you, because when you get to the other end of the pain that you're enduring, what you're thriving through, what you're fighting through, when you get to the other side, you have the understanding, the wisdom, and the knowledge to keep yourself and prevent yourself from going back there again. There's, I believe, an old saying that goes, as long as you learn the lesson and learn the story and you actually apply it, you actually are able to move forward. But it's those people who continue to rewrite that story over, the same story over and over and over. They never learn the lesson. So that lesson keeps creeping up on them. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winsome. We'll be back after this break. 78.6 FM, positive vibes, and win some accountability. I love that word, right? Accountability. Being accountable for your actions, being accountable for the good and for the bad. And I think a lot of people, they love to be accountable for all the great things that happen in their lives, but there's very few people who are accountable for the things that weren't so great, the negative things. They don't highlight those things as much, right? When you're someone who has sons and daughters, you really want them to know the good and the bad. I'm blessed to have a son who I can't wait to see him in uniform soon. He's watched my story up to this point. He's seen me navigate things in my life, and I think it made him better for it because I made sure that he understood what those challenging times felt like and looked like. I didn't shield him from it. I didn't hide him from it. I needed him to see your dad is better than yesterday because I fought for it, not because anything was given to me. And so I want to say this, be accountable for yourself. Be accountable for your actions. Be accountable for your story. There is something, stop blaming people for the road that you've chosen because it's your own asphalt. Now break that last word down in half. I love it because it cracks me up, but it's true. Things that happen in your life are based on the decisions you make and the decisions that you move with. You chose to go left when you could have gone right. You chose to go right when you could have gone left. You chose to stop when you could have kept stepping. Be accountable for that. When you're accountable for the steps, and I promise you, that was a very painful understanding for me at one stage of my life. Like, I got to own that. I got to accept that was me. That wasn't anybody else. I made these decisions. I put myself in this predicament. Now I got to fight my way out of it, and I don't want to put myself in anything similar to that ever again because I didn't like the way it felt. I didn't like the experience, and I don't wish that on anybody I love. But now I can help them navigate similar pains. So I tell you to take accountability because then you take accountability how you got where you are. First piece, this is on me. And it's going to take me to get out of this. It's going to take me and the people I love and trust for advice and for guidance to get out of these situations. It's also important to build those communities for yourself. I think some of the most trying times that I've experienced, I'm so blessed that I had really good people. There's a mixture of people who love to see your story when it's in a train wreck because that's just human. I don't know what it is. People like to see train wrecks. They like dramas. But there's also some people who see you experiencing that and it hurts them to watch. Especially if they've navigated something similar or been through it. That's like me and my superhero team. We don't like to see people in pain, especially if there's something we can help them with. But we've also learned boundaries in providing help, meaning I'm not a therapist, so let me get you to one. Meaning, in our capacity, I'm not a first sergeant to navigate this, let me get you to one. Because I can take all the energy the first sergeant would be giving you, or I can give it to them because they're the person who's supposed to navigate this with you. We're learning those balances. I'm trying to teach my team those boundaries. Stop taking on other people's roles and give it to them. Because you're actually handing off someone. If it's a warm handoff, then it's important, it's special, significant. If it's a cold handoff, then we got to work on you. But if it's a warm handoff, you're walking them to that place, you're making that call for them, you're connecting the dots for them, as we like to say in our team, that makes it special. So I say all this to you because you have to be accountable for where you are in your life right now. You got to stop blaming people for the road that you've chosen because it's your own asphalt. So I love you for listening to this show. I love the fact that you guys have actually tuned in, for the folks who do, and hopefully you take something away. For my Japanese and Okinawan teammates who actually listen in, I know I need to slow down because you're learning English, and I know you're paying attention to my flow and the way I speak because I'm one of the few Americans out of two, I believe now, that are on this station. I remember when I was one, by the way, for the guy who listens. I was the first. But when you feel that and you're hearing it, understand that this is passion. This is heart. This is me speaking with love. So when it's more, what should I say? There's more energy behind it. Is you can hear and feel the passion behind it. It's because I really care about what I'm saying. I'm not just throwing words out here into the universe. I'm really speaking, and my goal is to speak life into someone who needs it. 78.6 FM Yomitan, positive vibes with Winsome. No matter where you are, If you're down, you can get up. No matter who you are, if your story is painful, you can recover from this. You can navigate it. There is a brighter light, a brighter day. I think Pac said it. He said, for every dark night, there's a bright day after that. Are we chasing our own happiness, or are we stuck in our story right now? Because the crazy part is, everyone loves a redemption story. Now, my friends, I don't know about yours, but we love a comeback story. We love to see when someone goes through something impossible and comes out of it and makes the impossible possible. We love to see when someone has hit the ground, but they stand back up, unfazed. It may be sore, but guess what? Let me brush that off. I'm going to move. I'm going to keep it moving. There's people right now who you've seen in the news going through things, and then months later, it's as if it never happened because they navigated the right way. They surrounded themselves with the right people. They put themselves in positions to not fail anymore, but to win. There are people right now surviving and thriving through their worst days. So there's no real excuse for us as we're choosing and navigating our own decisions, our own paths, and our own movements. You are responsible for your story. Be accountable. You hold the pen. Now, there's a lot of times past pains get in the way and like to resurface. People from your past, situations from your past, storylines from your past. Guess what? If you keep looking back, the only thing you're doing is hurting your neck. You got to keep moving forward. I think that's hard for a lot of people because it's easy to get complacent. It's easy to let the pain stop you. It's easy to doubt yourself. It's so easy for that imposter syndrome to kick in. It's so easy for you to think you're not worth it. You're not good enough. But let me tell you, it's hard, but it's worth it. And it always benefits you when you believe in yourself. No matter how hard it seems, you believe that you can do it. No matter how impossible it is for someone else, you in your mind think it's possible for you. When someone else has done it, you realize that you can do it too. When there's someone who says, you're not going to do this, Winsome, or John, or Jill, you're not capable, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you don't have enough experience, but you get it done. It is so fulfilling, and it changes the game, and it gives your self-confidence when you achieve what you once thought was impossible, when you do what other people can't and what they tell you can't, and when you prove them wrong. But at the end of the day, the most important piece is you are proving yourself right. So from my story that I told you at the beginning of the second segment, I heard some things that had me questioning my value and my worth for my next chapter, but it never made me question who I am right now and in this moment. All it did was give me a vision for the things I want to do next, and understand that there's people in this world that are focused on a bottom line, where my heart and my mind is focused on educating, encouraging, and inspiring others, changing worlds, changing lives, helping people survive their worst day, thrive through this challenge of life, and getting through to the other side, anti-fragile, learning a lesson, applying a lesson to becoming better than yesterday. If I can do that for the remainder of my tour here and into my next chapter, no matter what it is, if it looks like this, feels like this, and gives me this joy inside, then I'm going to keep doing it. It's not about the bottom line. It's about who I am, what my character is, and me showing up every single day with consistency and with heart. Like Martin said, you may not fly, but run. Should I say this again? If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. It's going to be hard. It may not seem like it's possible, but there's always a way. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I'll see you next week. Peace.